Question: why do ladies wear snow boots in summer? And why is it smart for a guy to buy a lady a drink? Or maybe even 3? And why do we buy things that we don't even want? Marketeers master the skill of influencing people, and today we take their principles of influence and apply them to leadership. Although every marketeer seems to know the principles of influence, yet only few leaders are aware of them or even practice them deliberately. Strange, because Tenenbaum says leadership is interpersonal influence, and Yugal says influence is the essence of leadership. If influence is that important, we better learn how it works. We will now look at the universal principles of influence as described by Professor Robert Cialdini, the most cited social psychologist in the field of influence and persuasion. The 6 principles are reciprocity, consistency, authority, social proof, scarcity, and likability. Let's get started. In a study, an accomplice and a participant were put into a room with a fake assignment. In the break, the accomplice bought 2 Cokes, one for himself and one for the participant. After the fake assignment, the accomplice tried to sell raffle tickets to the participant. The result? The participants who had received a free Coke bought twice as many raffle tickets as those who received no Coke. The Coke example illustrates the principle of reciprocity. People naturally look for ways to repay others for what they have done for them. For leaders, this means that they need to look out for opportunities to be of value to their followers. Because when they give, followers will want to return the favor. So start sowing, so you can harvest when you really need their support. A psychologist called people as part of a questionnaire. He asked them whether they would consider to be a bucket collector for the American Cancer Society, if they were called upon. Many said yes because they didn't want to appear cold-hearted. When a few days later someone of the American Cancer Society did phone them, 7 times more people signed up than normally do. The previous example illustrates the principle of consistency. Once people have made a choice or taken a stand, they feel the pressure to behave consistently with that commitment. For leaders, this means that when they are trying to implement change, they need to seduce people to make small commitments and then gradually increase the stakes. In Texas, researchers made a man cross the street while the traffic light was red. Some of his crossings he did in a nice suit, and some in jeans and a t-shirt. The researchers then counted how many people followed him. When he wore a suit, 3.5 times more people jumped the red light with him than when he wore jeans and a t-shirt. The street crossing example illustrates the principle of authority. People are more willing to follow the directions or recommendations of someone to whom they attribute relevant authority or expertise. For leaders, this means that in some situations it pays to use attributes associated with authority. For example, titles, stylish clothing, and even nice cars. How can you convince people that Obama can be trusted? After all, he's black and has a funny name. In order to convince people to trust Obama, his campaign team made sure that there were always people from every demographic group behind Obama whenever he spoke. In this way, people could always see that someone just like them was trusting Obama. The Obama example illustrates the principle of social proof. People are more willing to take an action, like voting, if they see evidence that many others, especially similar others, are taking it. For leaders, this means that rather than trying to convince hesitant followers by sheer force of personality, they better make use of positive role models and let them do the convincing. A beef importer in the US informed his customers that because of weather conditions in Australia, there was likely to be a shortage of Australian beef. His orders more than doubled. However, when he added that this information came from his exclusive contacts in the Australian Weather Service, orders increased by 600%. The beef example illustrates the principle of scarcity. People find objects, opportunities, and even information more attractive when they are scarce. For leaders, this means that they can use scarcity of information or special projects or special rewards to increase the interest and motivation of followers. Used car salesmen are trained to do it. They look at the inside of your current car rather than the outside of it. Are there any golf balls? Is there a child seat? Is there outdoor equipment? They look for similarities and try to have a friendly talk. They are trying to get you to like them, because only then will you grant them the sale. The used cars example illustrates the principle of likability. People prefer to say yes to people they like. For leaders, this means that they should invest in their relationship with followers. For example, by trying to find out what interests their followers have. Mutual interest can be a good starting point to really get to know someone. These were the 6 principles of influence. Let's quickly review them. Principle 1 is reciprocity. Do something for someone else, and he or she is likely to return the favor. Like offering that cocktail drink to the pretty girl at the bar. Chances are she now feels obliged to talk with you. Principle 2, consistency. Get people to make small commitments before asking big ones. Principle 3 is authority. Making use of authority and expertise when they are available and appropriate can help you convince followers, colleagues, and even clients. Principle 4 is social proof. People look to what similar others do, say, and even wear. For example, like wearing Uggs snow boots in the middle of summer. Principle 5 is scarcity. People hate missing out, so why not use this human tendency to get people interested and motivated? Principle 6 is likability. We tend to say yes to people we like. No wonder we spend too much money on stuff in that store where we like the salesperson. Warning! With these 6 principles, you as a leader can increase your influence without others realizing it. Yet, with this power also comes a responsibility. The question then is, how will you use this science? For your own good or for the good of the people you serve? Will you show your dark side of leadership or your positive side of leadership? As Fairholm said in his article on spiritual leadership, both ends and means are vital to stewardship. So make sure you stay on the bright side of life and leadership by leading in agreement with Warren Bennis, who said, "True leadership must be for the benefit of the followers, not for the enrichment of the leaders."